Well, look, just changing direction. I won't be on air next Tuesday night. We're running a documentary not on vaccination, but on anti-vaxxers. I don't pretend to know what motivates people not to be inoculated or vaccinated.
Okay, thank you.
But I have been arguing that we must accept the reality that thousands and thousands of Australians are currently saying they won't be vaccinated. There was a 2019 survey from Immunisation Coalition. Now, they're the leading voice supporting immunisation and immunisation education. The survey has disturbing figures. Only 39% of adults said they would get the flu vaccination. 61% said they wouldn't. Only 19% of young men said they would get the flu vaccine. The Royal Australian College of General Practitioners President, Dr. Harry Nespolen, described the figures as disturbing. Jane Hansen looks at this anti-vaccination issue in this documentary next Tuesday night. And Jane joins us. Jane, thank you for your time. I don't know what other stuff was on there before, I have to tell you. But the medical people who are advocates for vaccination are disturbed by these figures. I guess they should be.
I think the latest survey that was done showed that less than half, would be willing to have a COVID vaccine now. But by October, obviously, some people aren't particularly, keen to have it. They have questions, which is fine. That's what we're here for, to disseminate the proper information, not the stuff you get on Facebook, especially now. And by October, they said it would be more like 75% that would be keen to have a vaccine. But, these are interesting times, Alan, and I think the moment the pandemic started, there was the question of vaccines, and the question of vaccines being our way out absolutely reinvigorated the anti-vaccine movement, which had been bubbling along for decades, as we know. But I think social media like Facebook and Instagram, owned by Facebook, have really allowed so much misinformation in this field.
Jane,
and, our documentary looked at that.
Yeah, Jane, in the documentary, just on a simple point here, how powerful is the anti-vaxxer movement? Because I've been saying all along, government shouldn't run away from the responsibility to answer the concerns about vaccination.
I think everybody has the right to question vaccines. I did when I gave birth. I think ignoring it in favour of conspiratorial nonsense is the problem. And that conspiratorial nonsense is being amplified on social media, and we have to push back.
Yeah.
Those in the evidence-based sphere have to push back, because as Associate Professor Margie Danchin says in our documentary, the message of the pro-vaccine group, the pro-science group, is vaccine save lives. It's pretty vanilla compared to, oh my God. No, Alan, let me finish.
Yeah.
It's pretty vanilla compared to what the anti-vaccine movement is saying, like vaccines kill, vaccines cause autism. It's all nonsense. There's no evidence for that. And I tell you what, if there was, I would be the first one to report it.
Yes.
In fact, I'm old enough to have reported on Wakefield's nonsense back in 1998. You probably did too. And only to find out that it was the most elaborate fraud that is still being felt today.
Yes,
and now you've got parents who feel terrible that they vaccinated their children and that caused their autism, which we know is bunkered.
Yes. I suppose the point I'm making here, Jane, is I just don't understand why government don't accept the challenge to get out into the public place and explain the virtues of vaccination and dismantle this argument that, it kills people and it's got all these negative side effects. Because, 25%, you said on those figures there, most probably have no intention of getting the coronavirus vaccine, and that has potential risks for everybody.
Like, I know that the government has had information programs in place, and in the last couple of years they've had social media targeted information campaigns. Whether they're doing that right or not, I don't know, because they're up against this cacophony of there's been a proliferation of anti-vaccine sites. Now, they just changed their name. If they've been cancelled off Facebook or something, they just changed their name to, the freedom fighters or, the warriors. And, it's all about anti-vaccine. But Facebook can't keep up with it.
But, Jane, you've got the nephew of the former US President John Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who heads up America's largest anti-vaccine outfit.
Yeah, and you know what? That vaccine outfit, anti-vaccine outfit, is worth millions. And a lot of the content that has been shared on Australian and anti-vaccine sites is actually from Children's Health Defence, which is Robert F. Kennedy's outfit. And, you know, I looked at their financials last year and their assets are like $32 million. There's money in this. There's money in selling fear. And Facebook's, you know, they're making money out of it as well. And now they've removed evidence-based news, and they've just provided this platform for nonsense.
Just before you go, a very quick one, because we'll see you Tuesday night. Jane, what's this mean for the coronavirus vaccine?
I think Australians are great vaccinators. We have 95% vaccination rate for 5-year-olds in this country now, which is fantastic. Things like measles cannot get a foothold. I do think we're sensible people. Yes, there's some loud voices in the area, but I think we trust, by and large, we trust our health regulator to get it right. And, you know, we want them to get it right. Everybody wants a safe vaccine. Nobody wants an unsafe vaccine. Are you going to roll your sleeve up, Alan?
Good. Yes, I'll roll my sleeves up. I always do. I take the flu vaccine. Yes, I'll roll. I mean, finding a place that's not sort of, you know, it's age is a problem here, Jane. Good to talk to you. Good to talk to you. This is Jane Hansen. It's the Sky News special report, Big Shots, Anti-Vaxxers Exposed. It'll be presented by Jane Hansen, next Tuesday night. I won't be on air. It'll be at my time slot, 8 p.m.